If the DVLA can't recognise this van as a camper van, then they all should be walking around with white sticks. Hello, my name's Mel, welcome to my world, and for those of you that are new to my channel, it's all about self-built camper vans and camper van related stuff, and occasionally I like to go treasure hunting. But today's Wednesday, so this is Waffle on a Wednesday, where I answer your questions to the best of my ability. And I'd like to invite anybody that's got any questions for me to leave them in the comments section of this video, and I will do my best to answer those questions next Wednesday. So let's crack on with this week's Waffle on a Wednesday by reading out our very first comment. But first I just need to find my eyes. Hi Mel, could you please hold up your wallet still for a little longer, as I am having problems reading the numbers on the back of the credit cards. I am now only a few digits away from a major spending spree, smiley face, and that comes from Peter, and I'm not going to read out the surname just in case that comment is incriminating. But Peter, I can assure you, if you did manage to get all the numbers off of my credit cards, I'm afraid to say I've already been on a spending spree, so you're going to be pretty much out of luck on that one. Thanks for leaving the comment anyway, and making me aware of my could be expensive mistake. Now here's a question that comes up quite often. It comes from Shitty Kitty. Why would you call yourself that? I like the picture though. Nice picture, very cute. Anyway, the question is, has your van been changed to a camper van certification, or is it still registered as a van? It's an awesome looking van. Well, thank you Kitty, that's very kind of you. I'm very proud of my van and I appreciate the sentiment, thank you. But as far as the certification of my van, I did go through the rigmarole of trying to register my van as a camper van. I filled out all the forms, I took all the photos, I did everything the DVLA asked me to do. But my logbook came back as a van with windows. And that's fine with me because my insurance company recognised my van as a camper van, and it's insured as a camper van even though the DVLA failed to see that it is a camper van. They still reckon it's just a van with windows. And I'm of the opinion if the DVLA can't recognise this van as a camper van, then they all should be walking around with white sticks. And none of them should be driving, that's for sure. Thanks for the great question. And I apologise to anyone that works for the DVLA. Okay, for something a little bit more serious now, and this concerns charging leisure batteries, and it comes from Tom Lanscombe, and Tom asks, is it safe to leave a battery charger connected to the leisure battery while parked up and continue to use the 12-volt system as normal, or will there be any issues with overcharging, etc.? The charger does have a trickle charge function, but not sure if it's best to use that or maybe just charge once the battery is low. Hope this makes sense. I look forward to your next waffle. Thanks, Tom. Well Tom, that is a really good question, one I can't really answer because I don't know the make of your battery charger, but I would say if you're through charging your 12-volt system and using it at the same time, if you've got the wrong type of battery charger, it could actually overload your battery charger, because after all you're trying to put power into your batteries at the same time as take power out of your batteries, and your charger will actually be trying to power your whole van as well as charge your leisure batteries. And in my mind that can't be a good thing, so what I would suggest you try and do is switch off your battery charger during the day when you're using your van, and then at night before you go to bed switch on your charger. That way your batteries will be replenished as you sleep. And then in the morning switch your battery charger off, so that way you know you're not going to be putting any strain on your battery charger and you're not going to damage it. And that's pretty much what I do when I'm connected up to shore power. Before I go to bed at night I turn on the battery charger, I turn everything off in my van, so in the morning not only am I fully refreshed and ready to go, but my batteries are recharged and ready to go as well. Thanks for the great question, and I hope that helps. Hi Mel, just a quick question. We love a quick question. How easy is it to get an Australian driving licence? Is it harder than the UK test? Cheers. And that comes from Endeds K. And Endez asked that question because last week's Waffle on a Wednesday I just happened to mention that I have actually got an Australian driving licence. Well, it is very simple to get an Australian driving licence if you've already got a UK full driving licence. It's just a simple matter of going to a local Department of Transport, filling out a few forms, answering a few road safety questions, and they will issue you with a full and valid Australian driving licence. And if you stay in Australia for more than 6 months, it is compulsory that you get yourself an Australian driving licence. Well, they were the rules back in 2014 when I got my Australian driving licence. But as for passing your test in Australia, it is completely different to the UK. They do have a completely different system, and you would have to do your own research on that, I'm afraid, because I passed my test here in the UK. And as a side note, my HGV licence isn't valid in Australia. If I was wanting to drive a HGV in Australia, I would have to take a separate test for that. Although my motorcycle licence is valid, along with my car licence. Well, I do hope that kind of answers that question, but if you really do want to know more, it's just a simple matter of going on the Australian government website. Try typing in something like drivinglicence.gov.au, and I'm sure you will find all the information that you are looking for. Thanks for the great question. Hey there Mel, I'm ready to buy my first van. eBay seems to have so many great vans without VAT. However, I'm so nervous about being scammed or buying a shed. Can you offer any advice? And that comes from Charlie. Well Charlie, yes, I can talk about buying vehicles all day long, but I will offer you this one piece of advice. If you are buying any vehicle on eBay, do not leave a deposit for that vehicle until you've actually physically gone to see that vehicle and met the owner. One of the biggest scams on eBay is sellers asking buyers to leave deposits for vehicles, and you never ever get to actually buy that vehicle because you've been scammed. And what they do, they will place an advert on eBay for a vehicle at a really knockdown price, a bargain price. It'll be so cheap you'll be scared to miss out. You don't want to miss out on buying that vehicle, and that's how they con you and draw you in. When you make contact with the seller, they will tell you they've had loads of interest, and if you don't want to miss out on buying that van, you need to leave a deposit right away. And if you are gullible enough, that's exactly what you will do, because you don't want to miss out on such a great bargain, right? You leave a deposit, and when you go to pick up your vehicle, you'll go to an address, and the people at that address will be clueless to why you're there asking them for a motorhome or a camper van. And in that moment in time, you will realise you've been scammed out of your hard-earned cash. So please do not leave a deposit for any vehicle on eBay unless you've physically seen it and met the owner and checked that the owner actually owns that vehicle. Do check the paperwork before you hand over any cash, and that way you'll safeguard yourself against being scammed. Also, it'd be a good idea to run a history check on that vehicle to check that it's not been written off or there's no outstanding finance on that vehicle, because if there's outstanding finance on any vehicle, that vehicle technically still belongs to the finance company. Even though you've brought the vehicle off the owner, the vehicle still belongs to the finance company and not you, and you have been scammed. Please be careful out there, and if your gut is telling you there's something wrong, walk away. Always trust your gut feeling when buying any vehicle. But saying that, good luck. I hope you get the van of your dreams. And this comes from Wendy. Hi Mel, love your channel, been watching for a while. Thank you Wendy, that's very kind of you. I have a quick question. We love a quick question. I'm fitting the same fridge as you, but I'm worried that whilst driving the van and charging my batteries that the alternator would produce more than 12 volts and ruin the fridge electronics. As I would like to cool the fridge before I arrive at the site, do you have your fridge on whilst driving, thus allowing it to get cold? Thanks again. Well Wendy, I can assure you I don't ever switch my fridge off, and yes, I leave it switched on whilst I'm driving my van. After all, they are a 12 volt fridge and they are designed to be fitted inside a camper van, so there is no need to switch the fridge off whilst you are driving. After all, if you did that, your ice cream would melt, right? So no, you're perfectly okay driving your van and leaving your fridge switched on at the same time. After all, that's what they're built for. Thanks for the great question. Have a good summer and enjoy your cool beverages from your fridge. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, it is time for this week's Troll of the Week.
Troll of the Week.
Now this week's trolling comment was left on a video that I made when some thieving scrotum tried to steal the catalytic converter from underneath my van. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it up here. It's quite interesting and quite entertaining, and I'd really like your feedback on it. Should I have made that video? and here is why. Well mate, now thanks to you, you have just educated other thieves exactly how to quickly steal another person's property. Not quite sure if that's a trolling comment, but it does bring up an issue. Should I have made that video? Should I have shown you how somebody tried to steal my catalytic converter? Does that video educate other thieves on how to steal catalytic converters, or is it best educating other people like yourselves on how to protect your catalytic converter from said thieves? What do you think? Should I have made that video, or should I have just kept it to myself? Anyway, please do leave me your feedback. Should I or should I not have made that video? I'd be really interested to know your thoughts and your feelings concerning this matter. Thank you. Hi Mel, thanks for another fab video. You mentioned using an extension cable for your Jackery solar panels to the power bank. Do you have a link please? So I can stop fanning around and moving the Jackery from its cupboard every time I need to charge it up. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the most genius. Thanks for everything you do, Joe. That comes from Joe Shields. Well Joe, I know exactly what you mean about moving the Jackery around just to charge it up, and that's exactly why I made myself a extension cable for my solar panel on my roof. I don't believe there's any such thing available on the market. I should have mentioned that, but I will show you the cable that I made and try and point you in the right direction. Bear with, because it's just down here hanging up on my bank head. So this is my homemade solar panel extension cable. It's just a pre-made solar panel cable, that's all it is. It was just pre-made. I think it's 5 meters long, and it was literally just 2 cables that I brought off of Amazon, and I taped them together, making myself a nice little extension cable. So when I want to charge my Jackery up, I can plug this into my Jackery and the other end into the solar panel on my roof of my van. Really simple, really effective, and I just keep it rolled up and hanging on my bulkhead underneath my guitar. I'll see if I can find a link for this, for where I got this from, and I will put it in the description of this video. And good luck with charging up your Jackery without having to take it out all the time. My Jackery is actually under my bed down there, and since I put it there and bought this cable, I've not moved it ever since. It's just under there all the time, plugged into whatever appliances I want to plug it into. If I want to charge my Jackery whilst driving, I get the cigarette lighter socket adapter and I plug it into the cigarette lighter's socket underneath my table, and when it is a sunny day I use my extension lead and connect it to the solar panel on the roof of my van. And like you say, really simple and effective and cheap too. Thanks for the great question, and good luck charging your Jackery without taking it out of the cupboard. Now Steve Simpson asked a question about my induction top, which is under here. Did you get the idea from Foresty Forest? They are a good idea, but will you have to get extra batteries to cope with it? Well Stephen, this was actually Rebecca's idea, and I did look up Foresty Forest, and you're right, he does do this as well, and it's brilliant. It's a fantastic idea. Maybe that's where Rebecca got the idea from, I don't know. I will have to ask her. But as for the extra batteries, like I mentioned earlier, I've got a Jackery underneath my bed, and this is plugged directly into my Jackery 1000. Now I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about this induction cooktop. I brought this cooktop from a company called LeisureWise, and I was under the impression that because you can turn the wattage down, it would draw less watts from the power pack. Well, in fact, when you turn this down to 300 watts, I was quite surprised to see that it was still drawing just over 1000 watts. It doesn't draw those watts continuously, it kind of pulses up and down. So I do find that a little bit misleading. I don't understand the science behind it, but I just want to make it quite clear that if you do buy one of these induction hobs, you will need at least minimum a 1000 watt inverter, or maybe even better still, over 1000 watts. Actually, what I'll do, I'll plug this into my Jackery and I'll do a really quick demonstration of what it does, just so you can get a visualization of how this actually works. Bear with me, I'll just get my Jackery out and I'll plug this in and I'll show you what actually happens in real time. Well, as it turned out, it was a bit of a struggle to get my Jackery from underneath my bed, so I've gone and borrowed Rebecca's. I'll just hope it's charged up. Hang on, let me turn it on. Yeah, sort of 41%, should be enough for this demonstration. So well, I've turned the Jackery on. If I turn my induction hob on and turn it down, 300. I've put some water in the pan. Let me just zoom you in and you can see how much it's actually drawing. You can see that it pulsates. Can you see that on the camera? Yeah, you can just see there the wattage is here. It goes from 7 watts right up to just over 1,000. There you go, 1,038. It peaked, oh, 1,200. So you're right, it peaks at 1,200, even though my induction hob is turned down to just 300. Let me just move the camera and I'll show you the induction hob. Bear with me. I want to give you a fair demonstration of this so you can see what's going on, because I was really surprised at this. There you go. You see my induction hob is turned down to 300 watts. If I turn it up, say to 1,000, it vibrates, the Jackery still pulls. See if this lines up. There you go. The same amount of wattage. There you go. Oops, moving. But here's the thing, it's so fast, that water is starting to boil already. Super fast. I mean, I'm over the moon with this, despite not being able to turn it down to the 300 watts that I thought I could. It is ridiculously quick. There you go, that water is literally boiling now. Look, this is real time, by the way. There you go, look at that. It's ridiculously fast. It was faster than gas. I'll just turn that off. See what, I just wanted to demonstrate that although this induction hob, you can turn the wattage down, it doesn't necessarily turn down what it draws from the battery pack. Yeah, really surprised about that. Now, talking about Jackery, they've actually launched a UK website, so you can actually buy Jackeries now direct from Jackery. And to mark this momentous occasion, they're having a special celebration tomorrow. They're calling it Jackery Day, and they're going to be giving Jackeries away tomorrow. So do go check out their website. I'll leave a link in the description direct to Jackery UK. It's well worth a look. And I have to say, I've had my Jackery under my bed now for almost a year, and I've had no issues with it at all. So do go check them out, link in the description. Now, regular viewers of my channel will notice that I've modified my kitchen somewhat, and one of the questions I got asked this week is, would I be uploading a video about my modified kitchen? And the answer to that question is, of course I've made a video about modifying my kitchen, and hopefully I'll have that video edited and ready to upload on Sunday. So if you are a subscriber of my channel and you're interested in seeing how I modified my kitchen, just check and make sure you've got the notification bell ticked, and then that way YouTube will notify you when I upload said video. And like I say, hopefully that will be Sunday around about 9 o'clock. Now, just one other thing, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube know you enjoy watching my content. And if you do have any questions for me, then please do leave them in the comment section of this video, and I will do my best to answer your questions next Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now.